Howdy, 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 everybody. And welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at Suzuka International Raceway. I'm Austin. I am joined by Marco Barbonera, and it is another lovely round for the Formula 3.5 Championship. Marco, how are you doing?
Well, I would like to say konbanwa, which means good evening, but judging by the time of day, I should say Ohio, like good morning, but in a sense of, nice to see that you are waking up and hopefully you want some coffee and you need some coffee, I think, because it is 4:50 in the morning in sim time. A bit early for racing, but I don't think that these drivers will care. Maybe they'll have some extra grip, and of course Suzuka, always a challenge, always a great track, because it's one of those historic racetracks. Grip will be at a premium as per usual, considering the Japanese tarmac, and this car very tough to drive. So, I mean, let's get going. I think after the Barber round, it's great to have some old faces to come back after the Le Mans break. It's a fantastic strength of field. We have all the big names, so let's see what we have in store for you guys.
It's going to be an absolute blast and a pleasure to watch after a fantastic round at Barber, which I unfortunately wasn't able to be commentating with, but I was watching at my sister's wedding on my phone. Don't tell my sister that.
In Italy, we have this like a recurring meme that it has happened for so many years that people tend to schedule wedding, which are usually on Sundays here in Italy, on day of important football soccer matches, no? So it's like 100% every time there's a wedding, a baptism or another religious ceremony, you see people sneaking out to check on the results or listen to the game on the radio every time. So I completely understand. I've done that so many times, so don't worry about it.
I know. It's just always funny because sports take priority with us.
I absolutely agree.
Currently in qualifying, Tim Dillow sitting on provisional pole, 1:41.06, followed by Jose Longa, Paul Ilbright, and last week's winner, Samborski, jumping up into third place with Fabio Di Carmo in fifth place. And Samborski, what a run last week, taking a maiden win as well.
Oh yes, he was absolutely, as I said during the broadcast last week, he has been always on the look at that lap by Langa, only 1/10 of a second away from the Lyle. He's been always in some trouble when I used to commentate on this series, as Ilbrink is coming with a good quick lap. This could be top 3, and it is.
Ooh.
But finally, all the pieces fall into the right place for Edward last week, and he was able to basically cruise away with a absolutely commanding victory, and very well deserved.
It certainly was well deserved. This race is going to be more about tire conservation and keeping the car clean, because halfway through this race is when the tires start to fall off here, and it's just going to be an absolute nightmare and a fireworks show on how smooth you are and easy you are on these tires, and not to overwork them. And try to make them last as far as you can. So we're going to see some differing strategies today.
Just for confirmation, on the right side of your screen is a lovely 20 degrees in the air, and on the track, as you can see, 4:56 in the morning. Hopefully the neighbors are not complaining too much. Also, we have this big cloud cover that's helping a bit to keep the track cool, and possibly, of course, making, I think, probably, I wouldn't say that visibility will be an issue, because look at, it's a bit early to go racing, but that sunrise is going to be majestic during the race. I know I'm a bit romantic about this, but it's absolutely lovely.
Well, they do call it the land of the rising sun for a reason, and we will be seeing that rising sun halfway through this race, I believe.
I think so, yeah. As I'm desperately searching for the rear wing camera. There it is. DRS is going to be very important here, of course, in this long front straight, and of course heading into 130R. Of course, when you head into 130R, you have the problem of basically, if you take 130R with your DRS open, this might happen. Point in case. Thank you, Phil Reed. as he's, oh man, he's basically stuck into those.
Yeah, he's buried in there.
Yeah, so.
Hopefully a few track marshals get him out there.
Oh, it's always the, we always have to do the dirty work, the track marshals trying to. The track state, that's a very good question, and maybe Austin can check it for you, because if I do, you will see my iRacing panel, and it's not very nice. But in the meantime, while Austin multitasks, let's also walk you through the starting grid. And here we go then. I guess by Austin's silence, I will guide you through it. With Tim Delisle on pole in front of Jose Langa, Paul Hilbrink and Phil Reed in the second row, then Ed Samborski and Emil Bernstorff in 5th and 6th. James J. Pinsker, nice to have him back, and Steve Honan. Fabio Do Carmo, one of the protagonists of last week's race, he is also back with us. Jabol Shatmari is going to be in 10th, and Theodore Burns and Luke Groom in P12. Going down, we have Reinaldo Augusto, P13, Jorge Exposito in 14th, Cedric Bill, nice to have him back, Thomas Knoll, Omar Ba, Shane Russell, Simone Pizzica, Gennady Kalashnikov, and Antonio Navarro is the only driver who hasn't set a valid lap time, as we are waiting for the drivers to take their place on the starting grid.
So 21 car grid practice in this session started with a low track state. So I believe we're going to be starting on a very lowly worn track, and it's going to be a very interesting start and made for a very interesting race. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the land of the rising sun, we're about to go racing for one of my favorite series, one of the top series here on iRacing, and probably one of my favorite tracks, because the 5 red lights are coming on, and we're going racing here at Suzuka. And it's a great start by Ilbrink, already up side by side with Longa, and Ilbrink around the outside of Longa. He's going to try to snipe 6, but Longa's holding down the inside line side by side, heading into the S's. Longa around the outside, now back onto the inside, and Longa defends second place very nicely.
Oh, behind them, be careful, Reed and Ilbrink. Ilbrink, of course.
Ilbrink! Off into the wall.
Man, Ilbrink, another race, another contact. This time, I think, much worse than the contact that he had at Barber last week, because, oh, look at that, Lange is going very wide there at the double right at the Degners. Other drivers are following in his tracks, including Omar Baha, who is pointing in the wrong direction. There he is.
Luke Grooms is also off, and I believe Kalashnikov was in an incident as well.
So, I mean, last week at Barber, he was able to recover, was Ilbrink, but this time I think he needs to pit, because he went, look how much he's struggling for grip in his car.
Yeah, I can even see the damage on that front wing. It's just bent and kinked out of shape. But up at front, Tim Delisle looks like he's in a test session all of his own, because he is so far away from everybody else. He was just the only car in the shot right there.
Board with Fabio Do Carmo, again driving in the colors that are sported in F2 by his fellow Brazilian Sergio Sette Camara down the inside at the Casio Triangle.
What a move.
That was very brave, also very, unfortunately for him, slow mid-corner. Shatmari could go for a comeback move here.
Yeah, Setamari, he's got the speed. He's holding him down to the inside. So they're side by side, heading back into turn 1. And Zamari just going to be sitting back behind the Camaro.
Yeah, basically Reed also, we just got a glimpse of that, tried to make a move on Langa, but he is still second behind his teammate Tim Delisle, you can see. So leading the way, Phil Reed then in third, Emil Bernstorff and Pinsker.
Oh.
Where is Samborski? Oh dear.
Samborski off Degna 2.
He's not the only one.
No,
I think Russell.
Oh no.
Having some issues. Let's go and grab some replays while we are at it. very
so
quickly.
much chaos in these opening laps. Let's take a replay. Here is lap 1, and that's Paul Ilbrink. He already got a tap right there, and he's just trying to make that car as skinny as possible, but unfortunately the racing line just wasn't helping him through these S's, and it's just so hard right there. Here's Luke Groom, who is much happier in that photo than he is right now, as this is what happened to him in Degna 1 and 2, just a little bit too wide, skipping across the grass into the wall. Omar Baha also taking a trip through the gravel trap as well.
See what happened to Samborski.
I think it's going to be a identical thing we saw with Luke Groom, just a bit wide through Degna 1, and he just touched the grass on exit. Yep.
And his teammate, DFR Racing, quasi-teammate, Shane Russell, basically at the same corner, same time, same mistake. Because you will see there in front, well, you don't see him, but there on the right, until a few seconds earlier, you could see Samborski's car.
Then we're back live with Tim Delisle, Longa, and Phil Reed, your top 3. And Phil Reed and Longa are actually putting in faster lap times than Tim Delisle right now.
Let's see the comparison right now. If I can click the right button, yes, as you can see, half a second gained in this second lap. Let's see now the third lap, how things will shape up. In the meantime, Paul Ilbrink has come and gone from the pits, but of course a long way to go again. In Barber, he was tagged by his fellow Dutchman Rob Boer, but it was just a spin, so to speak, and he was able to get back onto the track, make a great comeback. Oh, that's Jordan of Antonio Navarro behind those trees. I can promise you he's there. And there we go.
Yeah, the Hornet.
Yeah. Oh, he was getting attacked by both Kalashnikov and Samborski, so let's see.
Looking at Samborski's view of this instant right now as we head through Spoon. It's just no grip out there. Just get on the throttle a little bit too much, and then he goes screaming off into the forest. Thankfully, he avoids the wall. Back up with Longa and Phil Reed as they're dancing through the S's, and now Tim Delisle fastest lap by 0.2 of a second. But all 3 of these guys, Delisle, Longa, Reed, all have purple sector times in each different sector.
You know, in the chat someone is probably rightfully saying that, speculating that the team might be saving tires, as you were saying, and as the guys in the chat were saying earlier. And of course, a big hello and thank you to all of them for following us. Spizzica goes wide. You know, midway through the race, even with this very early start time, these tires tend to really fall off massively, as we have a bit of a scrap here between the 2 Brazilians, Do Carmo and Augusto.
Augusto down onto the inside through 230R. He's got the clearance by a car length, and he's got that 8th place sealed up nicely heading into Spoon. Just a little bit too wide out there, and now Augusto had to check up just a little bit. That's going to hurt his exit, but somebody who didn't check up is Setamari, and he's going to have a great run heading into 130R.
On board with the driver from Hungary. Look at that sunlight.
It's just beautiful. Heading into triangle chicane, a little bit late on the brakes. Goes Setamari up ahead. Do Carmo and Augusto getting very close to each other as Theodore Burns and Steve Honan are all packed up. And this battle for 6 is a 4-way fight. Here comes Burns looking around the outside. He's got DRS enabled. Burns, Honan, side by side going into turn 1. Burns trying to look for it. Around the outside they go. Side by side, still heading into the S's. This is pretty much the same thing we saw lap 1, but Honan decides to let Burns by as they go into the S's and save those tires and not try to burn them out so far. Lap 10 is the cliff, according to our informants in chat.
You know, back in the day when I was a bit younger in F1, we used to have the Trulli train. Now, will still be a Burns bus? We will know. I think he has something more than his opponents he could pull away, but it's getting pretty crowded.
Oh, that was a very slow line through there. And here comes Honan on the attack into the hairpin. But
Oh,
just,
contact!
no, oh, they contact, and coming out of nowhere is Ducarmo and Zatamari. Carmo and Augusto jumping up there, and now they're on the back of Burns. Very opportunistic.
Very opportunistic
Oh,
indeed. Oh,
Burns is
Burns.
off. Snap
Oh, dear.
oversteer hard into the wall, and his race is over. Let's right on board right here. I believe it was just a snap oversteer correction. Because, oh, you just hate to see that.
More of
On
the
board
traffic
with
here.
Thomas Knoll, and it's looking like a Sunday morning drive for him. Let's go on to James Pixier and Bernstorff for the battle for fourth. Pixier down to the inside. Lovely, lovely move by the free agent. Honan Esposito. Esposito holding it around the outside. Honan pushing it up to ninth.
Beautiful fights all over the field. Let's quick as Burns went into the pits, of course. Let's quickly give you a recap of the situation up front. Team Delisle and Jose Langa first and second, 1.3 seconds the gap. Phil Reed is around 4.5 seconds behind. Pinsker and Bernstorff, the top five, the two Brazilians of Augusto and Carmo. And behind them, Shatmari, Onan, and as you can see, again, quite a train of cars behind these drivers.
Yeah, Onan's got his mirrors full right now with Exposito, Cedric Bill, and everyone behind him. But hey, that's just going to make it a very fun race for us and a very challenging race for these drivers to look after their tires, especially if they're constantly battling like Honan is, trying to keep everybody behind him.
Of course, one of the toughest parts of the racetrack is this one, and now they will have the extra challenge. Look at that sun straight into their faces.
Yeah, if you have ray tracing on, it's going to be nasty to look at. As Esposito, too little on the brakes, and he goes through the triangle chicane, and going to have to be serving a slowdown penalty, and he's dropped all the way down to 13th and probably 14th as Samborski is closing in on. And look up ahead, Honan is leading a luge team of Bill and Noel in his wake as they head into turn one.
Fantastic stuff. Disappointing for Jorge Lopez Esposito there. He should be in a little bit of a home advantage given that his team name is Kuruma. That means car in Japanese. And sadly, his car getting a taste of that Suzuka grass, which you really don't want to taste when you are in such a good position. You can see the small mistake, and he dropped all the way back to 14th, which coincidentally is where he started for him. Oh man! Oh, no. Always scary. I mean, that corner is so scary. Let's see the gain. Biggest mover and shaker is series
Augusto.
Ronaldo Augusto.
As well, he's actually tied with Simone Pizzica.
Oh yeah.
He's down in 12, but everyone's just been having just slight monetary gains. But I can tell you, there's been a lot of losers right now. Samborski around the outside, now down to the inside is, oh my goodness, pulling a Max Verstappen in Spoon. Getting the elbows out and pushing Pizzica out of the way, but Pizzica, he's not going to be happy about that. DRS enabled for Samborski as they're having a drag race down the back straight, heading into 130R. Side by side they go. Ladies and gentlemen, get the popcorn out. This is going to be a Fernando Alonso type move. Samborski swings it down to the inside. Now Pizzica down onto the outside. Side by side they go into the triangle chicane. Ooh, that's getting very tight in the braking zone. On board with Esposito right there. And oh my goodness.
This is not over, I think, but I really love that overtake. I like a little bit of elbows out, as I always say. Maybe a bit risky with the open wheelers, but I mean, they all survived. They gave us a great, couple of corners of racing, and now Pizzica has to really be careful, of course, because Jorge Lopez is getting very, 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 very close to him. Of course, he wants to get back to where he was after that big mistake that again cost him quite a lot of positions. There at the front, more or less, the two Brazilians still trying to get closer to the top 5, but bringing with them Jalborg Shatmari. They're in 8th place, and of course, as you can see behind the other Jordan in the field, Steve Honans, in front of Cedric Bill, and of course, big hello I think to Amal Younes, who is also in the chat today, and his teammate.
Yeah, Cedric Bill started 15th. Today's been having a very good race, currently sitting in the top 10 right now, and he's looking for another position as he's just dancing with Honan and just following him, and just, I believe he's just looking after his tires right now and not really forcing any issues. And new fastest lap. Oh, well, Bill took all the caution out of the wind right there as he gets into the gearbox of Honan, and a little bit of switcheroo, trickery happening in the brake zone and on the exit of the triangle chicane right there. As let's go to Augusto and Carmo looking down to the inside. Side by side they go into turn 1. Augusto leads it through 4-6. Oh, Augusto! No!
Mistake from Ronaldo Augusto, and he is in the grass. He also got a little bit of that wall. Let's go to the replay. Look at the dust they have been kicking out off the line. The track is so dirty. I don't
low
think
track usage.
Yeah.
Now it's just no contact, just low tire grip, and I think the tires are starting to fall off, and that dust probably played a little bit of a effect right there. Kick up dust, that just lower the rubber to ground contact, and it's just a little bit too much, and there you go. Let's look at Samborski. He's just sniffing for another move, and man, this guy's been making some great passes right now, looking for another one on the exit of the hairpin. He's dancing on the back of Thomas Knoll.
Yeah, another time, just like many times it happened, he's used, unfortunately, to making these big comeback runs.
Oh my goodness, 2 times in 2 laps! Samborski, you got to be kidding me! He did it twice!
That was so brave. And
much cleaner than the first time, I must say.
Yeah. In the meantime, fastest lap of the race for our race leader, and Cedric Bill is about to try and make a move on Steve Onan.
Laying on the brakes, they're going to be side by side on entry. Hold it in a little bump on. Oh, Samborski drills him.
Pina. I tell you what happened there. Onan, I think, got stuck on the curb there. I mean, he not got stuck. He jumped on the curb at a terrible exit. It was basically planted mid-corner, and that caused a massive, accordion effect.
Yeah, Samborski was involved there, and Thomas Knoll got into the back of Samborski, and I think, back behind him. Speaking of Thomas Knoll, he spun off in turn 1, and yeah, Knoll got drilled hard. He's missing an engine cover and everything. Let's watch from above. Knoll and Samborski arriving into this very sketchy area. There's the curb hop. There's Bill getting to back. Samborski gets to the back of him. And then Knoll just gets absolutely pounded right there. Was that a Kalashnikov or Augusto? I think that might have been Augusto who got into the back of Knoll.
Let's see the replay. That will answer all our questions.
No, it wasn't. Woo! Very risky rejoin from Samborski right there.
Let's see with Gennady. Too bad, because this breaks up a fantastic fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was the black and green car, Pisica.
Yeah. I think at this point you are quite correct. Back live.
Yeah, it took me 3 tries. Back live. And Augusto and Kalashnikov, same corner, almost exactly same incident happening right here. Let's go up to the battle for 6 between Satamari and Carmo. Side by side once more into that tricky low grip turn 1. We've had 3 drivers go off in the last 2 laps. The tires are falling off, and Noel is heading into the pits.
Yeah, the engine cover, of course, damage, of course, means that you have some also bigger issues because you need to take a decent whack to get it, knocked off the car.
Speaking of a decent whack, look at the time gap between Reed and Jose Longa. 6 seconds separates those two. They were running nose to tail for both of them earlier on.
Look at that, steady but steady and significant gains. Lap 8 was a complete nightmare for Reed, but apart from that, you can see 6 tenths, 6 tenths, 5 tenths, 7 tenths. So really, Lange is pushing very, very hard. And as you can see, he still has his positive teammate in Team Delisle right in front of him. Even though I think that, as you can see right now, Delisle is, steadily gaining, not by much, but I think that Reed needs to watch in his mirror, and he needs to watch very hard, because that Pinsker car, especially in this early morning time, reflecting no light, just like my soul.
Oh, look at that! Oversteer correction by Reed! Reed has no grip on these tires, and here comes Pinsker. He sees the opening. Pinsker swings it down to the inside. Side by side they go. Reed in the grass. Side by side into turn 1. James J. Pinsker looking for his 2nd podium in this season so far. And Samborski round the outside, and now the inside. A little bit of touch with him and Baja. Samborski, what a move through triangle.
Beautiful race. I mean, this is one of the best races of the season that I commented. And here comes Baja with a comeback move.
Baja says, no, not today. Samborski doesn't want to give him any little bit of room, a little bit of touch between the drivers, but what a fight for 13th between Baja and Samborski.
James Pinsker just had the fastest Sector 1 of the race. He has some serious pace, of course. Top 2 is a bit too far right now, but also I think we had a little bit of a battle between Shatmari and Docarmo heading into, whilst all that was going on. Let's get a replay with the drivers that passed each other and then repassed each other.
Satamari, great line through 130R, then Camaro very nicely on the brakes, and that was just the most perfect way you could go into the triangle chicane.
These two are far from done with each other. As you can see, they are still within touching distance. Simone Pizzica and Jorge Lopez Esposito and Steve Onan are also very close to each other. And of course, don't forget, we've got Samborski on the comeback trail. Samborski goes a little bit wide there.
I think Samborski is seeing red as... Oh, Luke Groom. Sideways in the wall. This could get nasty through the S's.
I think it was in the left-hander up the hill.
Snap oversteer correction. There's the... Oh, it's just oversteer. Through Dunlop corner. And bang. Back up to the bow for 6. Como, Satamari going wide up into the curbs. Looking for that switchback line through the S's. But more dancing on the gearbox, and these tires are just running at the end of their life now. We're just halfway through this race.
And this is a bit sad because, I mean, this is if we could this is one of those races that you really never want to end. This first half was absolutely fantastic, and the rest of it promises to be on the same level as... it's nice to have DRS in this car, but the beautiful thing is that you can still draft and close to your opponent even without DRS. So it makes for a lot of passing opportunities. Reed is pushing like crazy. I've seen him go wide already a couple of times in this lap, flashing is in red on my timing screen. Sorry. So he is really trying to push hard, but
he has 11 off tracks.
Look at Pinsker is already pulling away from... Oh, Jorge Lopez went wide there at Spoon, yes. So difficult to get it right. You basically have to do almost like 3 different apexes there. And here we go once again, Docarmo and Shatmari.
Here comes Satamari. Carmo, can we get another perfect line going into triangle? He's using all the track available to him. Yes, he does, but not as good as Satamari, as he's got a run heading into the final corner.
Oh,
and,
no!
No! That did not just happen.
And he's in a terrible position, a little bit off the line. Hopefully he can escape. Oh dear.
No. That did not just happen. Satamari on a amazing run. He felt it all the way and then just out of nowhere oversteer into the wall.
Did he have his DRS open? Because usually if you turn with your DRS open, that is bad news.
I think he just enabled it just at the wrong moment. Are we going to see it pop on right here?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He tried to break, it opened again, but of course at that point in time it is too late. And we talked about it with 130R, but you know, the story is the same, because when you turn with the DRS activated, oh dear! Augusto not having his best night, and he gets passed by Kalashnikov there. So basically you lose all that downforce there on the rear, therefore the car becomes extremely sensitive to the touch, and off he went. If he just waited, easy to say now, like a second more to activate, he will still be in the race. He was very eager. Can't blame him, of course, because, you know, they are racing, but unfortunately for him, that is a retirement.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. That was one of the favorite battles we were watching today. But somebody who is very thankful that's happened is Saman Puska, who is up 12 spots so far. Puska ahead of this battle between Honan and Suzuka. Honan jumping over that curve. We saw what's happened last time, and that's what allowed Puska ahead of him right there as we head through the final corner. And let's get on to the draft. So we are riding on board with Esposito, and Honan's going slow. Is that a slowdown?
I think it was Exposito activating the RS.
Well, unfortunately for Esposito, it wasn't going to be able to work for him, but he's got a great line following Honan through the S's right now as they battle out for 8th place.
You know, he was hitting the limiter at the end of the straight, so I think he might have had the RS open, but still, let's stay on board with him and see the rest of the lap. And as he keeps on closing on Steve there, double right-hander at Dagner, very, very technical section of the racetrack. Then this beautiful right-hander to one of the best passing spots here, the hairpin. There we go, trying to get the tightest line possible. You see Pizzica there at the front. This is far from over, and then we come to the second half of the track. High-speed section there on the right, and you will see, many of you already know how tough it is to get spoon curve right, because you have to hit right, apex, back on the right, and back on another apex here, and then go on the power, you know, not too eager because you can spin very easily. Then of course you need to get ready for the wildest ride of the racetrack, this 130R corner.
As we see, Pizzica breaking the draft ahead of Honan as Esposito's coming on like a freight train on wheels. Looking like a normal Japanese bullet train, that closing speed he had on these two. As it's 1, 2, 3, 7th, 8th, 9th. Pizzica, Honan, Esposito. Down the front straight they go. Esposito's gonna run. He's going out wide. Side by side they go. Esposito, P8.
Very nice move there from Orge, as in the meantime Reinaldo Augusto just went past Kalashnikov once again. I guess that move was done in the hairpin, but maybe earlier.
There's Augusto and Kalashnikov heading into 130R, and oh my goodness, down onto the inside. What a move.
We have seen several acts of bravery from the drivers tonight, absolutely crazy stuff, and most of them have been pulled off without any major issues. Now, at the front is Tim Delisle, still the gap remaining more or less equal to his teammate Jose Langa in second place, 1.2, 1.3, you know, changing depending on where they are on the track. Pinsker has, I think, pulled away for good. Look at the gap there on Phil Reed, 3.5 seconds, so very, very nice driving from Pinsker there. Then, as I said, Phil Reed, and, you know, all alone, but enjoying a nice top 5 so far. is Emil Bernstoff from
The
Iberia.
theater Burns is driving to the pit lane?
There is.
I thought I saw something. Oh, he's got a lot of nose damage right there.
Oh yeah, look at that. You're absolutely right. I think I know what happened.
Dunlop. Dagna. It's one of these two, but Dagna won, going wide just like we've seen, and on the break. Oh.
You can try to brake as hard as you want. That is sadly not going to happen with the new tire model and the grass slash gravel. It's like being on a nice skating rink. So, I mean, of course you have to try, and sometimes you can make it happen, but most of the times, unfortunately, you are going to end up in the tire bundle there. Especially at an unforgiving corner like Degner 1 and 2, where you carry so much speed, especially in his downforce cars, where you know, try to basically use all of that and more as you try to get through the corners.
I can see the back end of Honan just wiggling around as he's struggling for grip.
So basically, yeah, I mean, these two drivers, Exposito and Honan, still are not closing in on Pizzica. I thought that was going to happen, but that is not the case.
Pizzica's been running a solid race, just robotic at times, because Exposito and Honan, they've been battling with each other, and Exposito, he's got DRS open, he's not even closing in on Pizzica.
Yeah, good driving from the Italian, as the race went a bit quiet now, but I mean, we had the 18 very solid laps of fun, and I think the fireworks, you know, are still not totally over yet. I expect a lot from this trio here as they look at
I think the fireworks are just being lit right now, because if you look at the gap between 1 and 2, it's closing down. Longa with it almost within 1 second of his teammate Tim Delisle. And as I said, that, it's jumped up to half a second, so I'll stop bringing attention to this stuff.
We'll see, we'll see. What we know is that the moment I said, you know, I hope this race goes on for like, you know, more than this. Someone in the chat said, some, you know, drivers that are not driving tonight, said, I am sure the drivers want this to be to be over as soon as possible, because I guess, of course, they are all struggling with grip. So it's of course going to be a struggle for them in these final 4 laps. Samborski, I think, just went past Navarro there, so position... No, it's not true. Let's see if they... Au contraire, Navarro is really closing in on Samborski, so my bad. Behind them is Paul Hilbrink, who is really behind, like 1 minute behind the leader. And Cedric Bill is the final car on the lead lap, 1 minute and 20 behind, of course, having to have a trip to the pits, as you can see right now. Hilbrink, Bill, and of course Thomas Knoll and Theodore Burns. Of course, usually if you tow back, you don't get this. Oh, look at this! All of a sudden,
Exposito closing that gap to Pizzica, and Pizzica's got his mirrors full of that orange, white, and black Karuma car, all in his gearbox right now. And Pizzica dancing around. Here comes Exposito looking around the outside. He does get his wing right on in there, so it's not going to be a good challenge for an overtake heading into turns 1 and 2, but he is letting his presence known.
you know, we saw in the past, from what I know, and of course I've raced against Simone sometimes in the Skip Barber series when he was just starting. He does not give up the position easily, so we'll see. I mean, the gap has dropped very quickly between himself and Jorge Exposito, so the tires are really on the limit for both of them. Maybe a mistake from Simone, but a mistake can be done by anyone in this point in time, so we'll keep an eye on this. And of course on the battle between Samborski and Navarro, let's see how he will react if Simone is going to be under pressure and maybe an attack from Exposito in the next few corners. Let's jump on board with the Spaniard and see what we see.
Jorge Exposito heading into Spoon. He's got his nose buried where he wants it. A lot of corrections mid-quarter there, just showing you how little grip these tires have with 2 laps to go. Pizzica dancing inside, outside, breaking over off the draft as much as he can, but Exposito still gaining on him. Exposito, bullet train time, side by side into triangle curve, trying to force him into a mistake in the braking zone, but Pizzica has nailed that corner absolutely perfectly, and now they're getting back on the throttle, and now we got another dance down the front straight with 2 laps go. Exposito around the outside, holding Pizzica down there. Exposito's got the speed. Exposito's in 7th.
Pinsker! Oh dear!
No!
Pinsker is off the racetrack and lost the podium. He was all on his own, and I think those tires pulled a sneaky on him.
Yep. Spinning it through Dana. No damage to the car currently. And here is Phil Reed, who saw the best thing he could see in front of him. Reed up into 3rd. Pinsker down into 4th. 2 laps to go.
In the meantime, Navarro got past Samborski for P13. I think we will have one more round between Jorge Lopez Esposito and Simone Pizzica for P7. Oh dear, Simone. That was very close to disaster. Just what Jorge needed. Maybe Steve can fancy his chances as the white flag is in the air. Sale la Blanca here in Suzuka.
Honan is struggling for grip. Everyone is struggling for grip with 1 lap to go. Longa has dropped off by a straight second in like 2 corners. I think Longa just had a big off right now because Longa is still dropping time. What is happening to Longa?
I think he's just tiptoeing around. No need to risk as he's sitting there. In the meantime, Pinsker, Reed.
The fight for 3rd is on in the last lap. Pinsker, he's got the pace, but does he have the grip? Through Dunlop they go. We know what happened last time. It doesn't happen again, thankfully. But James J. Pinsker looking for another podium on his resume this season. And he's on the back of Reed.
I think he will go for it at the final corner.
Knowing James, he always has a flair for the dramatic, and with him being a free agent, he's going to be trying to get as best results as possible. Heading into Spoon they go, and Reed, a lot of correction right there, and here comes Pinsker. DRS activated for both drivers right now as Tim DeLisle comes across the line with Longa in 2nd. The battle for 3rd is still on. Here comes Pinsker down onto the outside. Side by side, Pinsker laid onto the brakes, sends it round the outside, locked up to the pit. Reed going at it for a round the outside move on the exit. Pinsker, Reed, Pinsker, end of the race, 3rd place.
Wow, what a finish. Apologies if we missed Tim crossing the start-finish line, but that was absolutely great. We'll get a replay of that very soon. Let's bring an end to these battles here. Omar Ba and Kalashnikov here at the final corner. Seems like it's going to be Gennady getting the job done. It's not over. Samborski on Navarro.
Samborski looking down to the inside. He's going to absolutely send it up in there, but Honan holding it around him. Nope, that's Navarro. Holding it around the outside, holding Samborski down to the inside. Navarro's going to hold on to 13th. Samborski up and down day. Absolutely fantastic overtakes, but unable to lick the stamp and absolutely lock it in. But man, that we haven't talked about at all today, really, except for at the start. Well, we're going to be talking about him once more, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner, Tim DeLisle.
Oh yeah, he gets the nice slow motion to make up for, unfortunately for him, there were some crazy battles in the final lap. We just couldn't look away from those. And now, the final results of the race. Hopefully.
What a absolutely fantastic race we had today. The tires giving us a amazing show. A little bit of a stressful one for the drivers. I'm pretty sure they would like it not as stressful, but for us up here in the broadcast booth, it was pretty fun. Tim Noel takes the win, followed by Jose Longa. James A. Pizza with an incredible last lap, last corner, last second overtake on Phil Reed ahead of Emil Bernstoff, Fabio Du Carmo, Jorge Esposito, Simon Pizzica, Steve Honan, Ronaldo Gusto, Gennady Kalashnikov, Omar Baja, Antonio Navarro, Edward Samborski, Paul Ilbrick, Cedric Bill, Thomas Knoll, Theodore Burns, Sabro Zatamari, Luke Groom, and Shane Russell. Unfortunately, at the end of the grid, what a absolutely fabulous race we have witnessed here today.
Absolutely fantastic racing, and this shows again how great the community is, how great the drivers in this series are, and really they've been giving us quality entertainment on Saturday nights for the past 3 seasons, and this one has just started, by the way, so looking forward to what's coming up next. By the way, I think we have some interviews getting ready for us, and I think Austin is standing by with Phil Reed.
Howdy, 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 Phil. How are you doing?
I'm sweating.
Well, you would be. That last lap was extremely sweaty between you and James. That last pass going into the triangle on the last lap, just walk us through what was happening right there. What was going through your mind? Were you focused on keeping the car pointed straight? Were you focusing on defending, or were you focused on your tires?
Kind of a combination of all three, to be honest. I think you hit the nail on the head by mentioning them all. I don't know, past like lap 10, I had like, I don't know, just the grip just felt very, very strange for me. I couldn't really understand exactly how it was going on. But I thought once he'd made that mistake on the second to last corner, the second to last lap, I was thinking, right, here we go. I've got a good chance here. But then I made a little mistake myself, which just brought him back in close enough for him to have a move. And yeah, so then obviously running into the chicane, I'm thinking, right, okay, I just got to defend it. You know, I was thinking even if I defend, he's probably going to get me on the exit of the chicane anyway. So I was just trying it. But then, you know, he pulled off a very, very nice move on the outside, and I was able to hold it completely on the track without dropping off it. So I didn't really have any way to fight it back. And unfortunately, I tried to get the exit, but just I had no grip, just zero on the rear end. I mean, you can see it going through the final corner, the rear end stepping out. You know, it's a flat out easy, you know, kink essentially, and the rear end's just got nothing. So, yeah, but he obviously did a much better job over the race with the tyres. He had so much more pace as I just don't know, just dropped off. But I had a good fun.
Well, glad you had a good fun. You certainly gave us a lot of fun up here in the booth. Tire grip was absolutely at a premium today. Any comments about that?
Yeah, it was just struggling. I think a lot of people were struggling. I think basically everyone ahead of me managed it better than I did. I think, yeah, just any time when it comes to tire related stuff for me, that's usually a bit of an issue with me being on the pad. So it becomes a bit overheated and over exaggerated, I think. But it's, you know, it is what it is. I put up a fight as much as I could.
Well, you certainly did put up a great fight and a great show for all of us here. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors at Team AOR, Hype Energy, Elgato Gaming, and GT Omega. Almost forgot. And I'd like to thank my good friend Evan for engineering me during the race. And yeah, thanks to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Phil Reed, for giving us a great race, and you have yourself a good old night.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, now we have the podium, and I think we'll start from third. From where do we start? For third place, do you
3,
want to...
2, 1. Let's go 3, 2, 1.
Do you want to take James, since you know you were so excited?
Yeah, let's take James.
There we go.
Howdy, 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 James. How are you doing?
Wow, I'm pretty pumped after that.
Well, yeah, I would be too. Last lap, absolutely intense pass to get back on the podium after a extremely unfortunate moment through Dunlop curb. Walk us through that recovery drive to get back up into the podium.
Yeah, wow. So, I guess when you get in the second half of the race here, obviously being Suzuka, very high speed, very fun flowing track. I'd encourage anyone watching the stream, if you don't already own the 3.5 and Suzuka, definitely recommend it. Feels really good to drive here. But very high load on the tires, so the rear's very, very bad degradation near the end, can get quite sketchy. So yeah, just made a very small error, which then exacerbated into a spin. So I was very frustrated. I thought I blew the podium at that point, but Phil then made a small mistake on his own. He was struggling with the tyres as well a lot towards the end. And then going into that last chicane, I just thought everything's on the line. I'm going to push it to the very limit. Just about got it stopped in time, and fair play to Phil for not doing anything stupidly aggressive. Got the move done. I'm very happy.
Well, glad you're very happy. You're getting quite used to being up there on the podium again after that Interlagos round.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be similar to a couple of seasons ago where I spun it right at the end, cost me a podium in Interlagos. I thought it was going to be like that again, but no. Thankfully, this time
Things are looking up.
Just about clawed it back and yeah, on the podium again. Wee.
Well, glad you're having a great time, and hopefully we get to see you and have you more up here on the podium in the future races. But before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
I'd like to thank the cold tires because for some reason in qualifying I had no pace at all. I mean, the time it felt like a really good lap, and I was 1.1 seconds off the pace. So I thank the cold tires. And then apart from that, thanks to Phil for not crashing into me on the last corner, because I could imagine that happening. Just thanks to everyone for another awesome race and I presume an awesome stream.
All right. Thank you, James. You have yourself a good rest of your day. And we got Marcos standing by with Mr. Jose Longa.
Absolutely correct. And here we have him. And hello, Jose. Welcome to the booth.
Hello. Second, like ever.
Let's tell us about your race then.
Well, I have a good qualifying, I think, until I see the time of my teammate. Then I think, oh, like ever, I start second. Okay, very good. I have a very bad start, very bad first meters, because then in the first two corners, I think team block a little bit Paul, and bring me option to overtake him, and I go like a shark, because I think if I don't overtake in this moment, team go away. This is this track is very hard to overtake. I hope my move was fair. I think yes. Was very close with Paul, but I think was fair. He have very lucky later with another driver, and then I push all I have, because I know team it's super fast. We have more or less the same pace, and that these 2 seconds maybe was it's very difficult close this gap with the DRS. I have 2 less because I need to use to defend with Phil. Very hard at the start. Then I have 2 or 3 the DRS less than team. Then he managed very good, and I can't keep the draft. That this is the idea, because now this car have a little bit more draft. Have 1 second when you are at 1 second, you have draft, and he was very intelligent, and he used the DRS in the perfect moments. And then at the end of the race, I do a couple of mistakes because I am over the limit, and then the second position. That's not the best, but I think I do very good race, and I hope this is the last win of my teammate.
What about next week? Because we will be racing at Laguna Seca. What do you think about that racetrack?
Well, it's strange because honestly, Tim didn't know it, because when years ago when I meet Tim and we are in different teams, in this track in Laguna Seca was the first moment that I think, wow, we have here a very good driver, because in this moment I was very good in this car, and he are starting with the car, I think. And in this track, I remember this battle, and I think, oof, this guy is very quick. Then it's not my best track. I don't know if it's the best track for team, but I will fight obviously like in other races. And I'm sorry with my English. You are new, I think, and I am very bad. I am from Spain, and my English is like you see.
Don't worry, man. I'm from Italy. We are bad as well. So.
I know.
But Jose, thanks a lot. Congratulations. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Sir, I want to thank to the team, because, like ever, we have the best team in the world. It's very easy to drive like this, because the guys work a lot for the setup. We are very transparent. In the team, have a very good environment. We don't have bad things because I win or the other win. I won't win, of course, but I think it's very beautiful, these battles for the first position, and it's very nice for the team. And thank you for Positive Racing for bring me and the other drivers the opportunity. And of course, congratulations for team and for Phil or James have the podium. I don't remember now.
James.
James, okay. Congratulations for your podium, James.
Thanks a lot, Jose. Hopefully we'll catch you next week. Have a good night.
Okay, good night to you and for the others.
And this was our second place finish, and I think, Austin, we have left the winner.
Yes, we do. Our last interview today. It is, ladies and gentlemen, your winner once again, Tim Delisle.
Hey guys.
So, Tim, it was a very easy day for you from lap 1 ongoing, because there was an absolute scrap for P2 going into the S's. Did you have a good old show in your rearview mirrors, or did you just keep your eyes forward to drive your own race?
Yeah, so I got a pretty good start, but then the track was quite low grip. Like my qualifying laps, it was really slippery through turns 1 and 2. So I took it easy through there, and all of a sudden Paul's car just got really huge in my mirrors, and I actually thought he was going to hit me. But yeah, he managed to back off, but then it put him and Jose side by side, which like wasn't intentional. And sorry to Paul that I slowed him down through there, but they were side by side for a few corners, and it let me build a nice little gap that yeah, it was just, I needed that gap to get me through this race. So yeah, I was pretty lucky.
Yeah, the very high tire degradation here was a struggle for most drivers. How was your preparation with the tire grip? How did you prepare with the low tire grip going into this race?
Well, it's really tricky because this season the track state plays a much bigger part, and for some reason the track is fastest when it's completely green, like zero rubber, and gets progressively slower the more rubber that's laid down. So yeah, just trying to find sessions where like the track state was quite high, but then it turned out the practice session that it put me in right before this race was clean, like yeah, just a completely green track. And so I was doing lap times a second faster than I ended up doing here, which wasn't ideal, but yeah, I guess enough practice over the week that sort of I experienced the whole range of conditions.
Well, it worked out in your favor with you taking another victory here in the Formula 3.5 Championship. Any thoughts going ahead into Laguna Seca?
Yeah, basically just practice qualifying a lot because it's very, very hard to pass there. And last time we raced there a couple of seasons back, I stuffed up my qualifying a little bit. So yeah, just trying to not let that happen again, and hopefully a repeat of what happened here.
All right. Hopefully is always good for you. Look for another win next week. Before we let you go, Tim, anyone you want to thank?
Yep, just the team as always. Positive Sim Racing. Jose, a great race. I don't know, like maybe it didn't look too close because I was able to have that early gap, but we were so even on pace, and it was like give and take with the DRS. Just watching those gaps and making sure he couldn't get in my slipstream. So yeah, it was a really good race between the two of us. And yeah, congrats to James on finishing on the podium. That was an awesome pass, last ditch effort. And yeah, you guys for the coverage. So thanks.
And thank you for giving us a great show. On to you, Marco. Any closing comments for today?
Well, first of all, let me send a big hug to Frederick Nichtel. Hopefully, he's back soon with us in the commentary box, and my presence here is not needed anymore. But if I need to be back for next round, I mean, it would be absolutely great because this series is absolutely fantastic. I knew that when I left it a couple of seasons ago, it was one of the best series we covered, and it's a fantastic way to spend your Saturday evening. Especially if you are in Europe or whatever you are maybe in the world, your time of the day. Such close battles. The races are quick. But also very tough, challenging. These drivers are really on the limit for the entire time. So, I mean, Laguna Seca, team is absolutely right. It's going to be a matter of qualifying as early as as ahead as possible, because that's a tough place to pass, and another place where you are going to race a little bit later. I think around 7:15 is the green flag time in sim time, but it's another one of those places that grip comes at a premium, and track is very, very dirty, very high temperature we can expect, even though it's very early in the morning. So qualifying and consistency, just like here, will be massively important.
It certainly will be, but it's always bringing us a fantastic race from start to finish. So next week is going to be one to keep your eyes on. I want to thank you, everyone in the chat, for keeping us company and rooting on their favorite drivers today here at Suzuka. I've been joined by Marco Bobanera. I'm Austin Knight, and y'all have a good night.